Hello friends, Tal here, and welcome to another Legion beta video. Someone already left the group, which hopefully that doesn't fuck us. But today we're going to be taking a look at the Guardian Druid, the big beefy bear, the strongest tank right now in the Legion beta, and honestly a very fun class to play. Today, of course, with these dungeon run videos, just going to be doing a nice, easy, normal mode dungeon. I'm going to be talking about what I'm doing, what I'm tracking, what I'm taking a look, what I'm looking for, and all that kind of stuff. I'll be talking about my WeakAuras a little bit during and at the end, and I'll be talking about my talent choices during and a little bit at the end. So let's see, people are making sure that they're good. Let's go ahead and pull this pack. Let's just charge right in, get this shit started. So Thrash, as you can tell, looks fucking amazing. We're just going to go ahead and put that up. We're waiting for our Thresh to come back. Waiting for Mangle now. Going to go ahead and spam a little bit of that. Put up an Iron for Thrash, Mangle, then Moonfire spam for our filler. So if you'll notice, there is a talent called Galactic Guardian, which everyone's taking, which makes your Moonfire proc and give you extra healing as well as giving you some rage. The reason I'm not using it here, even though I do think it is a superior talent, is it is procking like crazy. It procs every 2 seconds off everything. You basically just start generating all your rage from that. And the reason I'm not using it is because I don't think that that's intended. I think that that's actually going to be changed. And I've already caught myself being so reliant on spamming the Moonfire to get the rage that I don't want to be reliant on it, which is why I'm not taking that talent. I've taken Incarnation instead. And again, the reason is just I don't want to get a false impression of what it's actually like tanking on this because of all the extra rage generation. Maybe it'll be changed and made a little more, like make sense. But on the off chance that it isn't, that's why I went ahead and did this. But anyways, guys, overall, my opinions on the Guardian Druid is that they're very, very powerful. They're well balanced as well. It's not like they're so strong that they'll beat everything in every situation. As you can see here, my health is dipping down, and that's what I want to say. You're very reliant on your healer in all the tanks nowadays. Guardian Druids have pretty piss poor self-healing until you get the artifact trait that makes Frenzied Regen actually do something of value. But that's okay because you have so many other tools, so many cooldowns, so many ways to reduce your damage that you can just sit back and rely on your healer to keep you up, and it's fine. It's balanced in that sense. It's a feeling that's pretty unique to have. I prefer classes that can self-heal themselves. I prefer classes that have that ability to keep themselves up in a bad situation. Maybe not to the extent that you've been able to in things like Legion and Mists of Pandaria, because that got a little ridiculous, a little overpowered. But definitely, I like having that chance, having that ability to sustain myself. On the Legion beta, Guardian Druids right now can't do that super well. Once you get the artifact traits and stuff, I think that you have a much better chance because it is pretty strong. But as you can see, I'm not really needing it. I'm going to go ahead and drop a Lunar Beam just for shits and giggles. Give me some extra healing as well. It's one of the reasons I chose it as my level 100 talent, because I wanted a little bit of extra healing here and there. And as you can see, the rotation boils down to a pretty simple thing. You use Thrash on cooldown, you use Mangle on cooldown, you fill with Moonfire or Swipe depending on if you're fighting AoE or single target things, and you use your rage on either Iron Fur for physical damage or on Mark of Ursa for magic damage, like that. And then every once in a while you can use a cooldown, or you can use some of your rage on Frenzied Regen, give yourself a little bit of healing, although it's not much, again, until you get the artifact trait. As you can see there, we were able to keep ourselves alive pretty easily. We got through that no problem, even though we dipped down. On other tanks, specifically things like the DK or the Vengeance Demon Hunter, when you dip that low, any hit will just murder you. But as a Guardian Druid, you're so beefy, you're so strong, and you mitigate passively so well, as well as just increasing heals on yourself from your healer, that being that low, while it is a dangerous situation, you're not immediately panicking. You have options, you have things that you could do. Not so much to heal yourself back up, but to keep yourself stable enough that you can be saved, you can be brought back. You give your healer enough time to cast the big heal and save your life. And that's a very powerful thing. Remember that Guardian Druids, their mastery is probably the strongest of all the tanks. It gives you more health and increases the amount of healing that you receive. So healing that you do, healing that your healers do, healing that maybe your co-tank throws at you every once in a while, all of that gets increased. and it's a very powerful thing, especially if you're thinking about going into, you know, mythic dungeons or mythic raids a little under geared. Maybe you didn't get all the best drops. Maybe you're prioritizing your DPS players as you do at the higher levels of mythic rating. It's good because you're reliable. You're reliable. You're steady. You're easy to heal. You don't do the most damage in the world, but you're able to keep yourself sustained. You're able to keep yourself healthy and topped off as a good tank should. Go ahead and do this. Gather all of these up, drop a lunar beam on them. Pop a pulverize, fill in with swipe, mangle, iron fur. These things are stunned because our DPS are doing a fantastic job keeping everything controlled, which is always good. And yeah, I mean, it feels better than a blood DK, I would say, because I expect to be able to heal myself really easily on a blood DK, and I can't. Just because of the way that they've changed things. But I expect a Guardian Druid to just be fucking beefy. I expect him to be the goddamn shield of all the tanks. Just a meat shield. Something that won't falter, won't die easily. And that's exactly the way that they play. They play very powerful. You feel like a goddamn bear. And it's such a welcome change because I've never liked the Guardian Druid. Okay, I've never liked the Guardian Druid. I've always thought that their whole emphasis on dodging and just I've never been a big fan of it, honestly, and I find myself seeing the strengths and liking playing it. I don't. It's not my favorite tank. I think I've already gushed about Vengeance enough to state that it's my favorite tank, but it very clearly is a powerful contender for a tank that I might have to main, might have to play, just because of the strengths of it alone. And I'm not even talking about things like the affinities that they have. They have so much versatility enabled for themselves, because with the affinities, in the middle of a fight, in the middle of a raid or a dungeon or anything like that, you have more options that you can go ahead and go into, and you really become a resource to your raid team. I guess that's the best way to say it. You are just utility and resource incarnate. You're like the Ret Paladin of tanks. You have all these abilities, all these choices and things that you can do. And I appreciate and find value in those types of things. Just in case you weren't aware, we are in the Halls of Valor dungeon here. I didn't really talk about that too much. I kind of went on a little rant here, talking about my thoughts on them. Oh my god, we pulled everything. Okay, so in this situation, I'm going to want to pop my trinket, which I got. I got a pretty cool trinket that reduces next 50% of the next damage that I take up to a certain amount. Once that's done, Rage of the Sleeper is going to be reflecting a bunch of damage. That's the artifact trait that you have. Very powerful. Going to be preventing damage to you and reflecting some of that damage. I think we might still be fucked here, though. I'm going to be super honest here. One of our Demon Hunters is already dead. We're going to go ahead and pop Survival Instincts, get some healing. Heal ourselves up with Frenzied Regen, Frenzied Regeneration, even though it's kind of shitty, if I'm totally honest. Not a big fan of it, but again, you motherfucker. He's like running backwards. And if I get close to him, he's going to jump again and pull that shit. So fuck him. I'm just going to Moonfire spam him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I get close to him, he's going to pull back and pull that shit. So I'm not going over there. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. I like this. It's not my favorite, again, but it's a close second. I got to be honest. It feels good to have these options and tools available to me. As far as talents, real quick, I took Pulverize because I just feel it's the best out of this entire talent tier. I like having the extra damage reduction, does a little bit of damage as well. Wild Charge because I like charging the things. Resto because it's going to give me some healing. Mighty Bash because stuns are always good. I took Incarnation again because Galactic Guardian I think is too strong and is going to be changed. I don't know for sure, but it doesn't feel like it's balanced. I took... what is it called? The thing that makes your Iron Bark and your Survival Instincts have a lower cooldown. I took that talent, which is called Survival of the Fittest, because I want to be able to use my cooldowns more often. Guardian Druids have many different cooldowns on a charge system, and they're very powerful, but they're balanced by the fact that they don't last very long. So they're very short, besides Iron Bark. Iron Bark actually lasts a decent amount of time. But Survival Instincts lasts about 6 seconds. It's very powerful, just straight up damage reduction, but it goes away pretty quickly. It's not something that just kind of lasts for a decent amount of time or anything like that. Incarnation is also very powerful because it's going to let you have all your melee abilities have no cooldown. So you just start spamming your thrashes, you start spamming everything, and it does give you a survival benefit. So it's still pretty good. It's a nice little extra cooldown to have. Let's go ahead and loot this. See, if I get close to this, it's going to jump back, right? Is it going to do that at some point? Nope. Guess I'm dumb. Never mind. Let's pull this because I think they're going to pull it. And I don't Something to keep in mind as you're tanking, always expect the worst situation. Not that, people are dumb or anything, but stuff happens. It just does. Let's take this guy. You still do have Maul available. I didn't talk about that as far as rage spenders. One of the issues I've always had with Bear Druids, at least in WoD, was that I couldn't get rid of my rage fast enough, and it very much felt like your rage was there as a resource, quotation marks, because you had so much of it and you couldn't get rid of it. And I still don't like that Maul has a 3-second cooldown, because it makes you not be able to spam it when you're just trying to burn the rage and not cap. I still think that's pretty dumb that you can't do. But I mean, it's whatever. It's still there, and I like that I don't find myself using Maul very often, because early days right now, I'm low geared, still leveling up, doing all that kind of stuff. I need to use all of my rage on Iron Fur or Mark Reversal or healing myself. I like that I don't have time to Maul, because you want to have that kind of option later on when you're geared or when you're trying to kill something very specifically. Like, that's when you start having those options to burn off your rage for other sources, which is cool. It's cool. I think that's good. I think it's a good thing to have. I hope my team didn't just pull everything, and I think they did, because they're not really paying attention. Yep, they pulled the Stone Drake. They're going to get us all killed. Yeah, we're going to die. I'm going to die, actually, more specifically. Guys, follow me. Don't pull shit. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get back to that area. I find that groups in this dungeon, I've done this dungeon once before, so is why, again, I know what I'm doing this time. It's not like the Neltharian's Lair where I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. But I've done this once, so I know the way around. I probably should have told them to follow me, but I figured that they would just, do that because you follow the tank. But I guess that's just a crazy idea, a crazy theory not everyone understands, where like the tank pulls and then everyone follows that person because that person's like pulling, what do I know, right? I only play this game too much. Let's go ahead and get around all this. Let's go cat form because we get some move speed with it. A little bit of move speed. Well, 30% isn't a little bit, but it doesn't feel like all that much. Let's go around here. What's this buff I keep getting from the mage? Atonement. Okay, so we have a Disc Priest. And so far they've done a decent job of keeping us alive. I had another Disc Priest in one of my other runs that had a bit of a harder time, to say the least. But let's make sure our team actually follows us this time. So let's wait for this fucking Demon Hunter and this fucking Shaman, who is 108. You say go, but you don't realize the Demon Hunter's not here, priest friend. And when the Demon Hunter pulls everything, I'm going to very sarcastically say, yeah, we definitely should have gone, right? I'm going to do it. Fuck it. I don't care. I am a sarcastic asshole if I haven't made that abundantly clear by now, friends. Which, I mean, could be good. Probably not good. Probably bad. But, I mean, I am what I am. Just go ahead and collect this. I really hate these hunters. I really, really do. As you can see here, as far as WeakAuras, what I'm tracking is I'm tracking the duration of my Pulverize, I'm tracking my stacks of Thrash, I'm tracking the cooldown of Thrash and Pulverize as well as my Frenzied Region, just so I can make sure that I have that up. I'm tracking the charge and the length of time that I have for Iron Fur, so I'm tracking both of them, and you can see that the charge changes once it's been, once one of the charges has been replenished. Remember that doesn't refresh, it just stacks upon each other, so you can have multiple instances of Iron Fur. I'm not tracking Mark Reversal because when you use it, it's probably going to be a very specific scripted situation, so you don't really need to figure out when it's going to be up. I'm tracking my Rage, even though the Rage number there is broken. I don't know why, but it's probably just because it's beta. A lot of add-ons and stuff are broken on beta, you just kind of have to deal with it. But that's fine. I mean, that's the price we pay for playing this early, and we're trying to do bug reports and everything anyways. That's how beta works. So we're just doing a little bit of damage. We're going to pop our Rage of the Sleeper here to reflect some damage back, and do a little bit of extra damage as well. I don't know why he has aggro, but doesn't matter. Go ahead and do that. I already find myself missing the Moonfire, giving Rage and the procs and all that, but again, I'm not entirely sure that it's meant to be that way, which is why I'm very, very hesitant to rely on it and get too used to it and like it too much. So I'm going to go ahead and pop my Trinket, reduce some more damage, but the fight's over. Let's just... Can we mount? Come on, let me mount. Not yet. Yeah, I'm out now. Oh, I can mount now. Perfect. So again, let's hope our friends here don't pull everything in the moon, because fuck that. I don't think they'll get through this though. I'm almost 100% sure they will not get through this without pulling this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it myself. That's the thing to always keep in mind as you're tanking. If you even for a second doubt that your team's going to be able to get through something, if you're in a pug and you doubt that they'll be able to make it through a situation without pulling, just pull the damn thing. You're going to save yourself a lot of issues, a lot of trouble in the long run, and you're going to hate yourself a lot less when they inevitably pull it and I have to tank the boss and a bunch of the ads and everything's going pear-shaped. But overall, the way that I feel about the Guardian Druid is that they're very, very powerful. It's hard to argue against being one. Having the affinities, again, so strong for switching according to the situation. He's licking his wounds. Fuck you, you're not healing. It's hard to not say that you want to main this. At least in my position, being that I am trying to be the best that I could possibly be when I'm raiding with my team. I'm trying to be the most reliable tank, the one that can do all the special jobs, the one that can go DPS as much as he possibly can in the middle of a fight, or go healing to alleviate some of the healing duty. It's hard to say that I don't want to make this my main, but it's only because of how good Vengeance is and how much I want to play that. But remember, you want to go ahead when you have everything on cooldown. So when you have Pulverize up, you don't have enough rage for anything, single target, you are spamming Moonfire. Some people are going to like that, some people aren't going to like that. You didn't used to Moonfire before in bear form. It's kind of cool being able to Moonfire. I like it personally. I'm not, upset with it or anything. Some people aren't going to like it, but Swipe is still there for when you're doing AoE. And it's nice that you have a Philly you can just spam. Coming from a Brewmaster perspective and having Tiger Palm that I just spam whenever I'm not doing something actively and having that be an important thing, one of the easiest ways to measure how good a Brewmaster is how often they are Tiger Palming. And very often, the difference in DPS amounts is astronomical because one Brewmaster is going to have a much, much higher amount of Tiger Palms than the other Brewmaster. So it's an easy way to figure out who's doing what they should be doing. And I like that bears have that in a sense with the Moonfires and the swipes that they'll be able to use on cooldown. Just whenever they want, not on cooldown. They have no cooldown. So we killed that boss pretty easy. Again, my health dipped low, but we were never in a situation where we had to panic because we still had cooldowns. We still had survival instincts. We still had inclination. I need to show you guys that because I haven't yet. I'm just not used to popping it because I've been playing with the Moonfire so much. Again, another reason why that Moonfire talent's making me really worried about it. If it doesn't get changed, it's almost required to take that. And if it does get changed, if you got used to it, it's going to suck. But I mean, I used a Bark Skin on the pool before that. I used Rage of the Sleeper, just doing more damage, reflecting some damage. You still had Survival Instincts. You still have all these extra ways to protect yourself. And that's something I love and adore about the Guardian Druid. You have so many cooldowns. I love having cooldowns as a tank. You get to really just figure out when is the best time to use each one. And it feels good to do that. Let's go cat form real quick. Just to get through this real quick. And we'll pop into bear. I really should put that on my cat bar because I have it on my caster bar, but not that one. Charge in, thrash them all, do this, mangle, iron fur. And it all makes sense. That's another thing that I want to go ahead and point out. I feel like a lot of the times the bear has been a very clunky spec because they've had a lot of baggage from the years and years and years that they've existed, and now they just feel really good to play. Like I said, I actively enjoy it. I don't know if I enjoy it more than a Blood DK, because the theme of DK has always been one of my favorite things about them, although their playstyle has changed so drastically now going into Legion. I will say that I think that they're stronger than DK, that's for sure. But as far as me enjoying playing it, maybe. I think I actually like them more than Blood DKs, to be totally honest. They just feel better equipped. Health is about half. That's fine. We'll just do a frenzied regen because it does so much healing. No, it doesn't. It's fucking shit. Unless you have the artifact trait. But, you will have the artifact trait. All you guys will have it, so it's not like a big deal. It's just currently testing, leveling up, and everything you have to get used to not having. Excuse me. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and pop a Lunar Beam here. Get some healing out. Lunar Beam actually does a decent amount of healing. I've noticed. It's not a lot of healing, but it's it's better than Frenzied Regeneration without the artifact trait. I keep saying it so often, and I feel like a broken record, but yeah, I mean, at least Guardian Druid less so than the other tanks, but all the tanks to an extent feel like they are so dependent on having your artifact traits maxed out to get the full benefit. And it's not just the tanks; it's like all classes. So I mean, it's fine. It is what it is. We expected it as soon as it was announced, the traits and everything. It's just like talents of old. You were expected to have certain talents and little, 2% extra damage on your fireball and all that kind of stuff to be completely balanced. But that's fine. Go ahead and pop a healing cooldown right there. We get it from our resto affinity, as well as just the passive resto healing that we're doing because of having that affinity, which is always nice. What the fuck? They pulled everything. I'm gonna pop Rage of the Sleeper here. We need to kill this and also take less damage. Pop Frenzied Regeneration here, just so we can get some healing. I don't have Lunar Beam for about 15 more seconds. Should be okay. Maybe. You're gonna pop Incarnation. It's a good time to show it. Pop the Trinket there, and Lunar Beam. And it looks like we're gonna be okay. We popped some cooldowns. We used Rage of the Sleeper a little bit early there. We used our Trinket to help keep reducing the damage. Then we used Rage of the Sleeper. The Trinket, obviously, not everyone's going to have that, so I kind of feel bad about using it. It's kind of not super showing exactly the way the spec plays. But shit, you're expected to have some trinkets at some point, so you'll be fine. I didn't pull that other one. That was someone. But yeah, we don't have a healer, it looks like. So just been kind of waiting, but they haven't really popped back in. What should we do? Should we kick and try to get another one, or what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Just gonna be bearing around, bear. Oh, and most importantly of all, you still have Bear Dance. That's the reason to play the goddamn class right there. Look at that shit. And then when you get all the other bear forms, and like the little stone bear and everything, oh my god, I can't wait to be fucking adorable. So we're gonna go ahead and vote to kick DC. So do that. Yes, we want to find another healer. The problem with this next pack is it's 4 of them, and that's a caster that does a stupid fuck ton amount of damage. So normally I would just pull the next pack, just do small pulls, and we would be fine until a healer came back. But being that we're looking at a big pack, I don't know about that. So we might just have to wait here for a second. I think what we can do, we have to pull that group up in front of there, but you guys have cooldowns? We can kill them in the next pack if we blow some. Okay, let's hope this fucking works. So I'm gonna bring these up here because this guy, I don't have an easy way of interrupting him. Fairy Fire, I'm not even actually sure if I still have Fairy Fire, if I'm being totally honest right now. I haven't really checked that out. I feel like we should. I'm gonna go ahead and use Rage of the Sleeper, put in some cooldowns as well, just make sure we're fine. Thrash, and we're going to Pulverize. Yeah, okay, so we're fine here. So Fairy Fire, do I still have Fairy Fire? I really thought that I did, but I might not. I have Incapacitating Roar, but I barely use that shit. Shit, I think it's gone. Yeah, they took Fairy Fire away, which is weird because I thought they had it in the last build. Oh well, shit happens. We could definitely go ahead and pull this next pack. Shouldn't be an issue at all. Oh shit, that guy can Heroic Leap. As you can see, it's not too intensive, not too much you have to worry about. You definitely can take a couple of talents that change things up, but I wouldn't be surprised if the talents that I've taken are kind of like the standard ones you're going to be going for at the end of the day. That is a bit of a criticism I would have, I guess, for the Druid. None of the talents feel like they're that much of a difficult choice. I mean, Thrash generating 2 rage each time he deals damage over time. Having more rage is nice, but it's hard to argue against 8% reduced damage from everything. Even against just AoE damage. You're gonna have to choose Gutter or Roars if the fight or the encounter requires Stampeding Roar, which kind of sucks. Um, Otherwise, Wild Charge is fantastic. It's the affinities are like the biggest fucking selling point, I think. It's just being able to switch to a DPS when the other tank is tanking, or being able to switch to a healer when the other tank is tanking during a very intensive moment. That's going to be ridiculous. Like you could just be a tank. You could almost, I wouldn't be surprised, almost be a tank healer for your other tank in a very critical moment. You have your other healers rate heal. You go resto. You just fucking heal them. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that's a possibility. I like having all of these. The CC tier's okay. Um, Again, this tier here with Galactic Guardian, everything's pretty cool. But the other choices, not so much. Guardian of Elune extending your Iron Fur and Mark of Versal is probably good, especially because it also gives you the increased healing. But I really like the reduction on Barkskin and Survival Instincts. I think that will be possibly a competitive choice depending on numbers. Earth Warden would probably only be good for very hard-hitting, slow attacking mobs. Um, Bristling Fur I still think is kind of useless. It lets you generate rage from being hit because you don't get rage from being hit, but it's hard to argue against like Rend and Tear, which is going to decrease and increase the damage you do and reduce the damage you take. It does kind of suck with Pulverize because you're taking your Thrash stacks away, but Lunar Beam is pretty fantastic. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and pull this. I think it should be fine to pull this. Probably won't have too much of an issue. I'm going to go ahead and use Rage of the Sleeper just because. I don't think we're going to have too much of an issue doing this without a healer, but who knows? Maybe we'll just die, and then I'll look like a complete and utter tool, and just won't talk about it ever again. Okay, so this shit actually does hurt. I forgot that this one does the spinny circles. I probably should have done the other one first. Oh my god, I fucked up. I fucked up. I forgot about that. But it's okay, we're mostly all alive. The Demon Hunter did die, but you know, oh well. He should have double jumped harder, I'm gonna say. I hate kind of dropping my Lunar Beam here because yep, he's gonna do that, and then I'm gonna lose the healing, which fuck, I fucked up. But I'm just gonna run around. It's pretty easy to avoid all this. It just kind of sucks if you're trying to be like try hard mode and stand in it and do some extra healing and damage and all that kind of stuff. It only sucks in that situation. Let's go ahead and pop our Bark Skin. Should be a nice amount of healing. We have our Frenzied Region healing is pretty good. Good, and we killed him. Perfect. Just gonna drop some healing on myself. I'm not going to lie. If we don't get a healer soon, I think we might just have to end the video there. I mean, we've already shown off a lot of the strengths of the Guardian Druid. We showed off a lot of the ways that it works. I'll talk about my WeakAuras and my talents a little more once we get out of this. But overall, I mean, it's just strong. I think what I'll do is pull this guy, and if a healer doesn't show up, I guess we'll just end it there. We can't do the rest of this instance without a healer. Shit hurts really hard. And I mean, I kind of feel like I've shown my point to an extent. I feel that I've proven that Guardian Druids are just really good, and I went ahead and showed you guys a dungeon run. I wouldn't be super upset with having to end it here. I'm not happy with it, but I don't think it's bad either. Show you Rage of the Sleeper with Incarnation. Gonna go ahead and do some big dick deeps. Just get a bunch of damage here done on this guy. And by big dick deeps, I mean last. But that's okay. We're almost going to beat the Demon Hunter, which is impressive in and of its own. Can we beat him? No, we can't beat him. Fuck. Yeah, but I think we're going to have to end it right there, guys. I think I might have to leave this dungeon. Oh, healer sucks. Yeah. Yeah, because she copies their abilities, and with her melee attacks are gonna hurt more than this guy, and then her doing his spinny stuff. I think we'll all just die, but that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of this, sadly. But I mean, what are we gonna do? Beta is beta. I don't blame the healer for DCing. I've DC'd multiple times on this. It just happens. But anyways, talking a little bit more about the talents again. Pulverize, I just feel is the superior choice to take, especially since Thresh is so nice and easy to stack now. Wild Charge, I like for all the solo scenarios. Gutter Roars, you're gonna probably have to take if you need it for the specific fight. The affinities, I would usually probably roll with balance affinity just because I want to be able to switch into Moonkin to do damage. But resto affinity is good just for keeping yourself healed up and healing your allies when you're fine. Remember, Guardian Druids don't have a lot of self-healing, at least not until you get some artifact traits and things like that. But that's fine because they have so much damage reduction and ways to prevent needing that self-healing, which I think is a fantastic trade-off. Again, Galactic Guardian, have to keep my eye on that. I don't know if that's going to be changed or not. I think it should be. It procs way too often. It's kind of fucking ridiculous. Um, but if it's meant to be like that, you're probably going to be having to take that. And I'm going to be honest, I was thinking about choosing it for this video just to show you how ridiculous it is, and how it just kind of overtakes the entire spec. But I want to show a very good representation of what it's like playing this for real. I think that when you choose Galactic Guardian, you're not playing a Guardian Druid anymore, not the way it's been envisioned. You're playing Laser Druid, Moonfire spam, which isn't good, I think. So I think that should be changed if it doesn't fuck. But if it is, awesome. And again, Lunar Beam just it's nice to have that extra healing. That's what I would say. I like having some self-healing. It's not the most important thing in the world, but as you can see, if you don't have reliable healing, if you're not being healed by someone that you know, someone that's good, having that extra survivability is always nice. As far as my weak auras, the only things I'm tracking, I was tracking Galactic Guardian up here, just making sure that when I have that proc, I'm using it as often as possible. I'm tracking not only the stack, but the amount of time that I have left on Iron Fur. I'm not tracking Mark of Ursula because, again, when you need magic damage reduction, you're going to know when you're going to use it, and it doesn't really matter to see how long it lasts. Some situations, some fights, probably, but just for the purpose of this video and everything, I don't think it's as necessary. And then tracking the duration of Pulverize. I'm also tracking Thrash, Mangle, stacks and amount of time on Frenzied Reju, as well as the Thrash stacks that I have on my enemy target. And then I have a Rage Bar here that's kind of pointless because the number's broken, but at least it gives me a good idea of how full I am almost on Rage. Obviously on live I'll have a number, it'll be fantastic. But yeah guys, Guardian Druid, I love it. I think it plays very, very well. You still have a couple of CC options here of Incapacitating Roar, so you'll be able to CC some stuff. You also have that tier of CC. I feel like they have a lot of tools that they're available to help you raid. They still have Stampeding Roar. I think it's only Pharaoh Druids and Guardian Druids that have Stampeding Roar, which is really nice. And they still have a Battle Res. Don't forget that. One of the only 2 tanks that has Battle Res. I like this spec. I do. It's not my favorite because I'm drinking that Vengeance Demon Hunter Kool-Aid. I don't think I'll ever be able to get over how much fun I have playing that thing. Reminds me of Brewmaster of old so much, but hopefully Demon Hunters stay strong or get a little bit of buff so they can stay competitive. As far as damage reduction, maybe take a little bit of the damage away that they do, just raise their survivability. But then again, I don't have all the talent, so it's not a completely fair comparison. Overall, I think Guardian Druid's in a fantastic spot. And I think if you play one and you love one now, you're probably going to play it and love it in Legion, especially with the cool little forms and everything that they're bringing in. It's a good time to be a Guardian Druid. They've needed it and they've deserved it for a very long time. Yeah, I mean, if you guys like this video, I hope you did like the video. I hope you enjoyed the time. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to go ahead and watch this. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel. I'm doing dungeon runs for all the classes. Once I'm done with that, I'm not sure what my next step will be. But when I figure that out, I'll let you guys know. But anyways, thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you soon.